Welcome to another episode of The Brand Called You, a podcast and podcast show that brings you leadership lessons, knowledge, experience, and wisdom from hundreds of successful individuals from around the world. I am your host, Ashutosh Garg, and today I'm delighted to welcome a very, very accomplished entrepreneur, a social entrepreneur, Mr. Deep Bajaj. Deep, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me, sir.
Deep is the founder and CEO of Sirona Hygiene Private Limited, better known by his brand name called PeeBuddy. He's been awarded the Social Entrepreneur of the Year award, and of course, he's been recognized, awarded, and felicitated several times. So, Deep, let's first talk about Sirona Hygiene. Yeah. Tell me about this venture.
Once again, thank you for having me. A great fan of your work and your profile too, sir. I think so. Sirona today stands to solve those intimate and menstrual hygiene issues faced by women, which are not addressed. There are right from puberty to menopause. We've got a list of issues that women are facing. And we're trying to solve them with our unique products. So there's toilet, intimate, menstrual, sexual hygiene, all taboo topics, trying to go after them and solve them for women of our country and all over the world.
And what was your motivation? What was the gap that you saw in feminine hygiene?
I'd say, the category fell into my laps. It was serendipity. I don't want to say that I knew that I'd right from the start that this is what I would want to do.
Right.
But like the great Steve Jobs says, it's only in hindsight that you can join the dots. So now I can say that, this category, once I stumbled upon it, started giving me maximum happiness. And the background goes that I started with events, 2006 till 2010. And we used to organize these large scale concerts. Got into handmade carpets with my wife. She's a carpet designer. We do make carpets for hotels across the world. So we traveled, around our pregnancy. And realized again how toilets were always a thing that you would factor first for women. So, and my mother had arthritis. So when in 2013, the idea for our first product, PeeBuddy, was born out of a joke. I thought I'd like to do something about it. So this was a road trip in 2013, 4 friends traveling together, Delhi-Jaipur highway. And I was fooling around saying, see, God loved men far more while creating us because we can stand and pee anywhere. Proud of it, but it was because girls were not drinking anything and boys were drinking whatever we wanted to drink. We were stopping at fuel stations. We were stopping at good eateries, but toilets on the weekend were not clean. So that's where a friend's wife suggested. She had seen someone in Europe use a makeshift contraption to stand and pee. That's where the world must have stopped. And I got the idea for saying, well, it is a possibility. It's no more a concept, right? Earlier the solution were, let's find a clean toilet. That's what you'd think.
Correct.
And or you'd plan your trip that you pee at home as a woman and then we'll pee at the destination. There was no other solution. So the minute this came in as a possibility, I thought I'd love to work on it. And that's how the journey started. It was not till 2015 when we got the design patent that I got serious about it. I was still just selling it, while trying to do a couple of other startups. But by 2015-16, writing was clear on the wall that, this is a massive, massive problem. We started to get a lot of great testimonials from women that, we made the life simpler because of the product. Now they don't have to touch the seat. They can simply use the funnel to stand and pee. And when for the first time, we started to see far more, I would say, interesting medical usage of the product is when I realized that this is just not an idea which should be taken lightly. PeeBuddy today is used by women during pregnancy, during arthritis, during cancer, in many cases. And once you get into the category, you realize that it's just the tip of the iceberg.
Correct.
From one then led another. So today there is a bouquet of products that we have.
And what are some of the other products that you have?
So we're saying that puberty to menopause now, as the narrative goes, there are issues in toilet, intimate, menstrual, and sexual wellness as a category for women. And we'd like to solve them with our unique products. Right. So first to follow PeeBuddy was India's first herbal period pain relief patches. So I'll say first 3 products were because of my own, personal or professional, exposure to these issues. So toilets, I had experience on my own. We'd had 1 miscarriage, by the way, and that was because of UTI. So it was very closely felt. UTI wasn't a joke anymore, right? And PeeBuddy solved that to a very large extent to say that now, and there is a notion that you get UTI from dirty toilets. You don't get UTI from dirty toilets. Women get UTI because they hold the pee for far longer than men, and then for other reasons. You can even get UTI from clean toilets. But PeeBuddy avoided all of that, right? So PeeBuddy had solved one for my family and for my professional background in events. Then my wife gets very turbulent first day of a period pains. Very turbulent the first period day. So India's first herbal period pain relief patch was made for that, because she would wake up every 3-4 hours, and I'm not that deep a sleeper. So I'd also get up. So I think it was a selfish thing where I said, let me solve my sleep and her sleep as a problem. So came up with India's first herbal period pain relief patch. Disposal bags, because she's very hygiene conscious. So India's first disposal bags for clean and hygienic disposal of sanitary products which are oxidogradable. And then we got in deeper and deeper into menstrual hygiene issues, right from rashes. For example, women get rashes all the time because of pads. For baby diaper rashes, there are hundreds of creams, but nothing for women. So came up with India's first natural anti-chaffing cream for women, natural intimate washes. We are one of the strongest advocates of sustainable menstrual hygiene products like menstrual cups. Today, about 500,000 Indian women are using Sirona menstrual cups. So that's the
series of, well said, well done. So moving on, as you built this business, and you said that this has been really a business that seems to have grown significantly in the last 7 or 8 years. What have been some of your challenges and some of your learnings as you built up the business?
I'd say, sir, the only challenge is that it is a very taboo category. I mean, we don't discuss these things. In the most evolved families, toilets, in period issues, sexual issues. For women, I mean, it's a non-existent domain. So it was virgin from that standpoint that, we were living with the whatever solutions were available. Like if you talk about menstrual flow, pads is the only solution. So maybe, you'd get it in black polythenes. And that's it. I mean, nobody speaks about it. She gets in her supplies, it goes straight in her drawers, and that's about it. All the other challenges she's fighting, on her own, without really discussing very openly. So that's a big, I would say, challenge that we faced. But learnings are that no matter how big the challenge is, I think if you're at it, you will crack it. So in my case, last 3-4 years, Touchwood have been very, very good. With respect to the way we've scaled, we've kept the company profitable. We've been PAT positive for the last 3 years, growing 100% year on year. And all through innovations. So on one end, it's a taboo topic, is also an opportunity, because there is somebody who's talking about it. There'll be many more. There'll be far more people who will benefit, because if you solve a problem which is not discussed, you're actually working on the grassroots level. Sure. And at the business level, I think the biggest learning has been that no matter what the industry is, if you just stay in the game, you will find the solutions. So I'd say those two.
Interesting. So the Prime Minister has been speaking a lot about public toilets.
So,
my question to you is that with the incredible growth of public toilets, how is this impacting and empowering the lives of millions of women and children in the country?
I'd say so. I mean, the good part is that at least there is a dialogue that has started at that level, whether it is toilet hygiene or it is menstrual hygiene. Government has taken a lot of initiatives, and these initiatives are now out in open. It's not that the previous governments didn't have policies around this. I mean, yeah, there were always lip service that was happening. But with the onset of this digital media, what has happened is that whatever initiatives are happening now, it's going to the last person connected on mobile phone will get to know it. Earlier, it was very much restricted to you having an access to television and print. Correct. So at the macro level, I'd say the great thing is that there is a dialogue around it. Toilets, it's a big problem. Even if I look at the rural in India today, there are still cases of, crime against women when they're going out to relieve themselves in the morning because there are no toilets. So the ones who do not have access or do not have means, at least are aware that whenever they get their means, the first thing that they should build, maybe over that another small room in the house, is a toilet. So it has spread that awareness. Very, very good. For the ones who had the means but did not really have the awareness, there are people in the villages also, in the tier 2 towns also, who had money. Money is not a problem. But they still, because from generations together, they've been going out to defecate, to relieve themselves in the morning. It was the norm. That also changed to an extent that, people are now making toilets. Very, very good. But I'd say, still some distance to travel, because the whole public toilets are still, a little far from where I would say that they are usable, right? So you've got them aware about using a toilet, and if they are from really, underprivileged backgrounds and they can't make toilets and they're using a public one, if it's not clean, they will again go back. But I'd say step one is about saying, let's build them. Now we go to the second problem, which is let's maintain them. So I think maintaining them as an issue has to be solved. That's what the rural India is. I think great job done, at least in terms of talking about this. In urban, I'd say public toilets is still, I mean, there need to be more toilets for women. They need to be clean for women. You know, I mean, I was looking at a statistic. I'm assuming this is now updated, but I think in 2015-16, MCD had released saying that there were about 1,600 urinals for men in Delhi and 250 toilets for women. Do you see the disparity? I mean, men don't need it. We use every second tree as a urinal, right? And women who are now more up and about need toilets, but that's the gap. And who need it to be enclosed and clean area. So the fact that we are talking, I'm sure solution will be there. That's what Sirona stands for. It. You know, we are saying that unless we talk, there'll be no. There is no dialogue. There's no progress. There is no progress. There's no solution. So I think at the government level, they've started the dialogue, and I'm sure now solutions will get better. Same is what Sirona is battling with.
Well said. Though a follow-up question for you is that the funnel which you have patented for women, that also needs availability of toilets. It's very difficult to imagine someone just standing by a tree and, the social, culturally, it'll be very difficult for acceptance, isn't it?
Absolutely. No, you're right. And to be very honest, we have been asked this question many times that, are you adding another thing for women to carry in their bags? And I said, no, not really. As a company, I'm saying I'll be very happy the day toilets are clean and women choose to not use PeeBuddy today, because there'll always be women who are pregnant, who have arthritis, who have spinal injuries, who have some other who will use PeeBuddy. And that was the whole idea. I never thought this will go and become $1 billion sort of a product. I said this is always a product that will impact people on the ground level. Having said that, I don't see that our women will stand in pee, but that still happens without even toilets, by the way, where trekkers are there and people who are on road trips. I mean, we do it where we open the front door and the second door, and I have two girls, the elder one at least, and my wife. I mean, they can comfortably stand in and relieve themselves. There's no toilet. So yes, we need toilets. Yes, PeeBuddy should ideally be used when in a closed area.
Correct.
And but does it stop you? I'm saying what we are trying to say is that till the time we are at a place where there are enough toilets and those toilets are clean, you have a product to help you, deal with it. And same with maybe the Sirona range, in period solutions.
So another question relating to public toilets. When one travels in Europe or the Far East, the toilets are clean. And that's also because, there is someone who takes 25 cents or 50 cents or €1 or whatever, for you to be able to use the facilities.
So
I'm seeing this beginning to happen, but it is still nowhere near hygienic that one would like to see.
Sure.
What is your perspective?
It will take time, sir. I'd say that as long as we are open to a dialogue around this space, you will see solutions will evolve. Like Sulabh Shauchalayas have been here, like Sulabh that way but it's a large organization today. It's catering to the need of a certain sect. You are not the TG right now. You are anyways not used. You are not anyways not relieving yourself also on the roadside. We also, when we are traveling on the road trips, the first option is let's stop at a petrol station, even as men. So we are there. We are there at one level up because, the roti kapda makan is sorted. So you're saying that, you're going up the Maslow's hierarchy. So you're at a stage where what do you need and where can you get it, and you can afford to be there at fancier places. For the guys who cannot afford fancier places, the solutions which are there just need an upgrade. Whether they'll pay for it, some of them can pay, but the bigger issue is the guys who are right now defecating in the open and they don't have nothing. Now, will they pay to use? No, because they don't have even basics met. So I'd say that at that level, it's important for us to have these toilets and have them clean. Even if you get CSR money to go behind it, a huge chunk of this problem can be solved. You cannot expect people to pay. You pay there because you're used to paying on everything that you do. You pay for water, you pay for trains, you're paying for everything, right? When you're traveling internationally.
Right.
Here, expecting people to pay for toilets, at least the ones who come from the underprivileged background, the whole thing will fall. It will not happen. And you have to keep it clean also.
So again, I was noticing, after a long time, I took a train ride about a year and a half ago, and I'm much older. I remember when I was a child, I used to take a train ride. In the mornings, the train tracks were the favorite place for people to go and relieve themselves.
Yes.
And I commented after almost 35, 40 years that I did not see too many people.
Yeah.
So is this because people have got more awareness? Are they building more toilets? Or what is happening? I mean, you would know.
Well, I would say that, sir, I'm not an expert on this topic, but what we've observed is that at least in the tier two, tier three towns, with the advancement of technology, we followed pretty much whatever our parents said.
Hmm.
Kids today have, like an opinion of their own.
Correct.
At least the guys who are going to even, basic schools, they are being taught this right at the inception level. So awareness is far more. Yes, people are building toilets, and it's because of that you see far less people going out. And I hope that changes. Yeah, I think it's not the best way to be.
I
But
agree.
yeah,
I agree.
still miles to go.
I agree. One more question, and then I'll move to the next segment. And that is that any lessons from all the good work that you have done in India with PeeBuddy and all the other products that people in other parts of the world have started to pick up?
Well, I would say that from our mother brand Sirona, I think what we've been able to do here with the menstrual cups, I see a lot of people from a lot of countries, especially Africa. We've had now 6 countries within Africa who reached out to us to implement similar programs. So what we do is we have two parts of the business. One is for the guys who can afford our products, right? So Sirona says for period, there is cups, there is pads, there are tampons, there are intimate wash, there is ash cream, etc. For toilet, there is PeeBuddy, which has stand-in pee, there's toilet seat covers, and there are before and after toilet sprays. I mean, the entire sphere. But we also have a paid forward division through which we work with the underprivileged, especially the traffic sex workers. We've done programs for people from remotest parts of India, where we are teaching them on sustainable menstruation and moving them to menstrual cups. So in urban, we have about 500,000 women using us. In rural too, last year alone, I think about 10,000 women were moved to a cup. So what is a cup? Cup is an alternate to a pad, right? So the thing that we're trying to discuss here is that pads, like toilets in the rural India, is not the solution. Like, just building toilets is not the solution.
Correct.
Keeping them clean is, ensuring that women are able to use it safely is, so if it's a kilometer away from the village, it's just not worth it. It has to be in her backyard.
Right.
Similarly, for a pad, you give her pad once, and if she has to keep buying it again and again, it's not helping, because first it's costing the exchequer, every month.
Correct.
Then wherever she's throwing it is going to landfills. It is also giving her rashes. Most of the women from these villages don't even have undergarments to put the pad on, so it's also a waste on that point. So we have been moving women to cups. Now, cups is a normal silicone device, not our innovation, but certainly something that I'd say that we can be credited for changing this habit for Indian women. It's a small cup. She inserts it in her vagina. It collects all the blood. She takes it out, throws it, reuses it. Can last. So we started doing this in small pockets across India. Looking at that, people from all, I would say that I have 8 inquiries as of today, and we've converted about 5 in the past also, where we are teaching them this program to say, this is how you need to handhold people to move to cups. Once you give them, you've impacted them for life. For 5 years, she doesn't need to buy anything. For 10 years, she doesn't need to buy anything. It's a far better product. That is very, very heartening. In the case of PeeBuddy also, PeeBuddy started to move in the US. It is moving well now in UK, Germany, and smaller numbers, but still great to know that a product from India, made in India, designed, patented in India, is finding acceptance in other parts of the world. So those 2 projects, I would say, have been interesting.
Fascinating. So Deep, I'm going to move to the next segment. My viewers and listeners love to get to know my guest a little better. So I have 3 or 4 questions for you personally. What would you say are 3 key milestones or pivot points in your life or your career?
Wow. So one is deciding to move from events. So I started with events 2006 to 2010, and then I can say, that we were at least from my point of reference, I was at the top of my game. From nothing to about 10 odd crores we were doing in 2010, and I decided to move on. I think that was a big shift, because I just started to settle in. Life was good. Everybody said this is a bad decision to make. And that was first. Second was, I'd say, one more startup that I did that didn't do too well. And third was decision to pursue Sirona full time. I think these 3 are on the professional end. On the personal end, getting married for everybody else changes a lot of things.
Absolutely.
Being blessed with my girls, I would say, would be second and third, in that order.
Wonderful. So my next question to you is that what are some of the core values you believe in?
Okay, so I'd say that I don't know if I could call it a value, but yeah, something. It's a muscle which is important for you to build is persistence. I think that's very very important. As it can be a virtue, if you can be known for it. Second is to me integrity is equally important, and it's not when nobody's watching. It's integrity to me is when nobody's watching. What are we doing? Sort of a thing, important for me. So I'm happy as a team member, as a leader, that we make mistakes. You come and own up to it. I'll excuse anything in life. We've had bigger losses, smaller losses, good profits, bad profits. But lying is something which is a challenge, and I try my best to, to follow this as one of the traits. And third is empathy. I think those three to me are my favorites.
Fair enough. I have time for three more questions. So my next question is that for someone who's been doing so many interesting things, what does success mean to Deep from where you stand today?
I'd say miles away to call ourselves a success. But I'd say if I were to break it into personal and professional again, professional will be how many people from my immediate team was I able to shift their orbits. How many people whatever future has in line. So I don't say that I will never do this. So never say never. But let's say tomorrow I exit or the day I make a lot of money, how many people around me would have also made wealth enough, and not only wealth, I would say mental balance and everything else. So how many people am I able to lift is a mark of a success. I think personally it will be with our kids. If I'm just able to give them an upbringing which makes them comfortable in their skin and follow their passions, I think I'd say that I'd had a good life, where I'm able to balance both.
Terrific. And a follow-up question to success is who or what inspires you?
What inspires me, honestly, every day is the customer feedback and testimonials that we are getting. Touchwood, it's very, very heartening because we are a category which is very challenging to break. And on one end, investors have their own way of saying that we'll only go after hockey stick growth categories, and we have decided to stick around. So customer testimonials make it just completely lifts me up. On again a personal level, I'd say I've been watching Jim Rohn's video. I believe that they're fantastic, decades old, but still so relevant. And so yeah, that's what keeps me going. Yeah. So,
and my last question to you, Deep, and this is for the many, many people who listen to our conversation.
So,
what would your advice be to a young entrepreneur who's starting off on her or his journey?
I'd say and just to also finish that first one, what motivates is also people who take a decision, and it might be different, away from the ordinary. So people who are moving from jobs to work, from jobs to businesses, from businesses to job. Those guys also inspire me a lot. People who are willing to take that part. It's not only that it's very fashionable from moving to jobs to businesses. A few things that I would say to a young guy starting, whether it's a job or a business, is number one, Rome wasn't built in a day. Please give it good 1,000 days, whatever you're planning to do. You give it 1,000 days, in 1,000 days, anything can be a success. So persistence, 1,000 days. Second, I'd say don't get too much into analysis paralysis. My life has been full of serendipities, and I think I've taken more chances than I would have that I deserved, honestly. So don't get too much into analysis paralysis. And third, and most important, please stay away from energy vampires. It's a concept that I was introduced to by a monk in New York called Dandapani. You should look him up. Fantastic guy. And he talks about energy as a perishable commodity, and there are people who just suck it out. So please have that list ready. There are people who might come across as well wishers, but they're not. So those three, if you haven't checked, 1,000 days, don't get into too much analysis paralysis, and watch out for energy vampires. You're good.
Amazing. Deep, on that note, what amazing pieces of advice you have given, and I love this bit about stay away from energy vampires. Thank you very much. It's been such a pleasure speaking to you. Thank you for taking me through the amazing journey of Sirona. I wish that you continue to do really wonderful things for all the people who don't have the ability to look after all the hygiene challenges. Thank you again and good luck.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for inspiring us. See you soon.
Thank you. Thank you for listening to the Brand Called You videocast and podcast, a platform that brings you knowledge, experience, and wisdom of hundreds of successful individuals from around the world. Do visit our website www.tbcy.in to watch and listen to the stories of many more individuals. You can also follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Just search for the Brand Called You.